Spring clean that podcast feed and skip the doom scroll. The Newsworthy gets you caught up on the day's news in less than 15 minutes and gives you some fun conversation starters along the way. It's quick, friendly, and informative. Search The Newsworthy wherever you're listening now and follow or subscribe to The Newsworthy today.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
And welcome to Friday night. I'm James Van Alstyne. This is Car Con Carne. Still out of the car. We're out of the car. It feels like for good. Quarantine Con Carne is sponsored by C&H Financial Services, who offer a variety of products ranging from traditional merchant accounts to a zero-cost payment processing solution, which eliminates the expense associated with accepting Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express as a form of customer payment. C&H Financial Services eTab solution is easy to set up for your business for online ordering and curbside pickup. C&H also offers cost-effective commercial lending programs, which can help get your business the money it needs to make it through these unprecedented times. To learn more, contact C&H Financial Services at 855-600-2437 or go to chfs.us. So I'm recording this live on a Friday night, 9 o'clock at night, 24 hours from now in Bridgeview. Pegboy celebrates their 30th anniversary. It's a drive-in show. Load up the car, bring the kids. SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview. It's 30 years of Pegboy. Local H is on the bill. Jake Burns of Stiff Little Fingers and the mighty Bollweevils, all in one night. Doors are at 5. Buy your tickets at chicagodrivein.com. To drive the point home, on the show with me tonight, it's Pegboy and Daryl Wilson from the Bollweevils. It's everybody. This is great. This is a true preview of what we're getting at the drive-in tomorrow. And I just want to start with this thought. The last time I saw a Pegboy song performed live on stage was last year. Rise Against played Through My Fingers when they did the Chicago Theater.
Right.
And Pegboy maybe was never a household name, but those who know Pegboy love and continue to be influenced by Pegboy. That has to feel kind of good.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, we've been at it so long that I think a lot of the, when this kind of music started to get accepted by the mainstream, I think, we're proud to say that, a lot of the bands that made it a little further than we did monetarily wise and popular, radio wise, have attributed some of their, influences to us. We think it's great. We really do.
So this is a celebration of 30 years together. I want to kind of walk through a little bit of your history, kind of talk about the beginning, talk about starting as a band. Let's go back to 1990. Three-chord Monty, speaking of Through My Fingers, came out. I think there were probably expectations. I hate to use a word like supergroup, but you guys started with pretty impeccable punk credentials, Bopal Stiffs, Effigies, Naked Ray Gun. Did you feel there were expectations on you guys when you started the band?
Actually, when we started the band, we were practicing in our parents' basement on the south side. So, no, there weren't huge expectations at that point.
Well, tell me how you felt as a band when you were starting out. Like, what was the scene like? What was the attitude? Where were your heads at?
Larry?
Anybody? Yeah,
well,
I mean, the thing for us, I mean, at that time, I mean, obviously, we all grew up through punk rock through the 80s. And at that time, the scene was a pretty small, and John has referred to it as an incestuous scene where a lot of friends were in different bands together. And there was a lot of a lot of, a lot of us were in a lot of other bands together throughout that scene. So, I mean, when you said we were feeling pressure, we were really basically just doing what we had been doing for years prior to that, playing music with friends. So we really didn't have any expectations. And I know they kind of framed it as some kind of a super group, but we never really saw it that way. We knew a small group of musicians who all had common interests in the same type of music. And it was kind of easy for us all to get together and just go from there and see what would come out of it.
I'm going to stay in this era just for a little while longer, because for me, I was still kind of young at that point. this part of Chicago music history still feels mythological because I wasn't going to see as many shows as I did later in life. Like, what were the clubs you were playing? What were the places you were hanging out at? Like, set that stage for me.
Anybody want to take that one?
We hung around in the punk rock bars, Exit and Dreamers. I don't remember what else was around then.
You played those all ages shows out at McGregor's, like you guys played with, Jawbox and things like that. Those are like amazing shows. I mean, to talk about like a super group, I mean, you might have not thought that, but all of us as fans, kind of looked at it that way. And you guys came out with just a punch. I mean, there was nothing that came out of that in any way was, disappointing. It was definitely more than what some of us expected in some senses. And that's why you kind of have that whole thing of you're always in our hearts and you grow, just exponentially bigger and bigger all the time, no matter what. I mean, you guys have just these amazing live shows. It's interactive. We know, we're part of that, because we're all part of the same scene. And, it was just, you guys hit with punches that, all of us took, and we were just blown away. And every show you guys put on, everything you put out was always amazing. So no matter what you played, no matter where you played, no matter what the show was, it all just became legendary in its own way. Hence, there's 30 years of this stuff. And, we get to still witness the amazing, artists that you guys are as Pegboy.
Wow.
Oh, promote. Thank you.
I want Daryl to be our new singer.
You're hired.
He's way nicer than Larry.
Really, back to it, James. I mean, back in the 80s, there really weren't that many places to hang out if you were into punk rock. I mean, like Joe said, there was, Johnny may, John's a little older than us, so he was at a couple other places. Club COD, Metro, Cubby Bear, they all had some great live punk rock shows. I know a lot of younger people would never even believe that there were punk rock shows at Cubby Bear, but there were some great ones. And
true. Wrigleyville back then, what people don't realize, it was pretty sketch. Like it wasn't a place you drop the kids off at and just hope for the best. Wrigleyville at night was, junkies and street people and punk rockers. That was basically about it. It was shady. I mean, now if you roll through it in the present day, it looks like you're driving through Northbrook or Highland Park.
It looks like Disneyland.
It kind of does. We have some people watching. We have a lot of people watching on Facebook Live right now. Bob says, "Say something, John." John Haggerty's kind of the quiet storm. He's he's very measured and careful about what he says. I think he's just calculating what he's going to say.
I thought you'd never shut up. That's all.
Dennis Buckley of the famous Chicago band 88 Fingers Louie says, "Is Larry wearing a parka?" You do look a little toasty there, Larry. Are you somewhere cold?
This is my stylish hoodie. I got dressed up for this occasion.
And
Usually
Don,
just a gray hoodie, but today I went big.
Not wearing underwear though.
Yeah.
And Don made note that there was already an incest mention in the conversation, the first one of the night. I hope it's the last one, but you just don't know. It's live. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
It's up for grabs. All right, so let's bounce around a little more Pegboy history. Let's talk about that first album, Strong Reaction. Tell me about what it went into making this one.
So the first full-length Strong Reaction, I mean, what really went into it was, when you get together with people that you haven't really played with before, you all try to bring your best to the table. You don't want to be the wink link of your band when you're not that familiar with each other. So I think we kind of all just went into this trying to give it everything we had and to be the best we could possibly be, not only for ourselves, but not to let down each other. And I think, as that album went together, it was really us really focused and really trying hard to put something out that we're proud of, and as well as the other members could be proud of you for doing.
It really does still hold up. All right, we'll zip through the other ones too. Jumping ahead to the 4 EP. My God, I still can't get enough of Never a Question.
Mm-hmm.
That song still rips to me.
Yeah, that's a good one. I still love playing that song every time.
Yeah, we put that one on. We put that one on the back burner for a little while, and then we brought it back. And that's a special song to me because I wrote that about my grandfather, and he succumbed to Alzheimer's disease, and he was really a huge influence in my life. So that song, I really kind of spilled some emotion into that, and I love it. It reminds me of him every time we sing it.
Earwig came out in 1994, the next full length. This was, I think, your magnum opus. This Sinner Inside, Sideshow, Wages of Sin, this is a monster album, you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. I think that was Pierre Kesey's first record with us.
Yeah, in the south of France.
Oh, so you're the one who bought it, huh?
Yeah, and one of my favorite covers. I mean, your version of Mission of Burma's Revolver is just as good as that song gets.
Yeah, that song stands on its own.
Well, you mentioned Pierre's name. There's no delicate way to get into it. Pierre passed, I think it was like a week ago. He was in your band until Ray Gun reformed.
Right.
He was a part of the band. He was such, as we talk about influence in this town and on the music, he was a major one. I mean, I mentioned Rise Against. I know Joe said Pierre was wildly influential on his musicianship. Tell me about your relationship with Pierre and what he brought to Pegboy.
I think a lot of people don't know this, and it even shocked me when it was brought up to me. When Pierre's first stint with Naked Raygun ended, he was with Pegboy much longer than even his first stint with Raygun. So between those two, it surprised me when somebody told me that he was with Pegboy longer than he was actually with Raygun until he reunited with them in what was it, 2007, I think. So I mean, Pierre, through pretty much all of Pegboy's history was integral. He did all the touring we ever did. He did 95% of it. So I mean, when you spend months on end, 24 hours a day together, I mean, you really, you're almost like brothers. You're almost like brothers at that point. So yeah, it was when he passed, it really kind of took me a couple hours, but it really set in. It's a huge loss. He was a super guy, super human being, great bandmate. You really couldn't have a nicer guy to work with and be friends with, and I'm proud that he was with us for so long, really.
Hey, I thought when he passed, well, maybe Pegboy won't want to do the interview. Maybe it'll just be weird. But then I thought, no, this is the perfect reason to keep the interview going, is to talk about him and acknowledge his contributions. There's no better time than right now.
Yeah, no, he was a giant. He was an absolute giant. And the world was a better place with him in it, for sure.
James, I actually, I was kind of thought about that as our 30-year anniversary COVID show was coming up, and I was hoping that it wouldn't put a shadow over it, and as it turns out, for me anyway, I'm looking forward to do this the show as kind of a tribute to his friendship and his time in our band. I mean, it's unfortunate that it turned out that way, obviously, but we're going to look at this as a positive and kind of send Pierre off and have a tribute for him. So that this show is really going to be more about him than it is us.
Yeah. It's a celebration.
Bottom line, it's going to be a special night. Go ahead.
You think about the other bands that he was in too, Strike Under and Trial by Fire.
Right.
They were major bands at the time. Well, in Chicago anyway. At that time, it was a lot smaller scene. But I remember, seeing Strike Under. There's pictures surfacing of Pierre like at 17 or 18 playing that same bass that he played, every show with, recorded every song with.
Yeah.
It's just really bringing back some memories for me. Especially, I think the very first punk band I ever saw was Strike Under at O'Banion's. And I distinctly remember saying to myself, this is great. And at the same time saying, this is also something that I could probably do, which never happened before. Like before that, I was into, big, arena rock bands like, Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Deep Purple. And it never occurred to me that I could do this myself without being some kind of virtuoso with, 30 years of playing experience, before I could even dare to get up on stage. But after seeing those guys, my attitude changed right then and there. So I pretty much have Pierre to thank for that. And also the thing is, in any band he was in, I'll bet you, I know at least in Naked Ray Gun and Pegboy, he's like the most valuable player, and he's the most valuable member because on and off stage he would give he'd bring a lot to to the dynamic of the band. Like if we're on the road, he could drive until most of us dropped. He could he could do the songs. He could load gear. He could do everything. So he was like, and he always had a great sense of humor. Always made the time go by faster. So yeah, he was something that people don't know probably about him was that he was, he was the most valuable player in any band he was ever in. Not just because he wrote great songs too, which was, yeah.
That's a wonderful way to memorialize him. And tomorrow night will be special. It is, again, at SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview. It's a drive-in show, top to bottom. On the bottom, the Bollweevils, top Pegboy. That bill is stacked. It's going to be tremendous. What I found interesting as John's talking about how he felt he didn't need to be a virtuoso to play, there are so many people who look to John Haggerty as this epic guitar player. Like hearing you be self-deprecating about your own playing blows my mind because you've influenced so many. Yeah. You don't feel it, do you?
Yeah.
Here we go. Sorry.
I roll from the brother. Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump ahead a couple years. We've been kind of crossing our fingers, hoping for the past 20 plus years there'd be a new Pegboy album. But back in 1997, we got Cha Cha D'Amour. Tell me about that.
You want to go on that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody bought that one either.
Yeah.
Okay, here, I'll start. I'll start. Dog Rules.
I think that was that a Pierre song?
I think that was a Pierre song, right?
It's a Pierre song. Mm-hmm. And isn't that, now Joe, didn't we record that one in France? That's the one we did with Ian Burgess in France, wasn't it?
No, that was Earwig, right?
Are you sure?
No, I'm not.
Forget no, man. James, we're forgetting all this stuff.
It's what? When it's 30 years of a band and you got, all that French wine you got back in the day because you guys were like, big guys going to France, recording, and then it all comes back to you at some point where you're going to play Walk On By. It'll be like, let's play my Walker On By is what you're going to be playing. So that's okay. And I only kid because I love you guys. That's the only reason why I kid.
You're uninvited.
You invite me all the time, then you uninvite me. Why do you do that? Why do you do that to yourselves?
I love you and I hate you.
It's so punk rock. I get a text from Daryl early in the day. Is it cool if I jump on the Pegboy thing?
Well, Larry texted me yesterday.
Well, that's my point. And Daryl's like, well, Pegboy invited me. I'm like, well, yeah, of course, but that's so punk rock.
They invite me only to chastise, to promote, and then to say, get out. That's all I told them.
I'm usually the only one that's talking during these things, so I had to have Daryl on to help.
Now, again, we said John's the quiet storm. He was quiet until he didn't need to be. He said a lovely piece about Pierre, and now it's back to you, Larry.
And now back to you.
And now back to you, Larry.
James, have you ever seen a punk rock band where more people had their reading glasses on?
Actually,
holy shit, I'm the only one.
You're the only person in there.
You're the only punk band I know of that is completely beardless.
Yeah.
And
tattoos. No tattoos either.
Tattooless.
Wait, there's not a trace of ink on any of you?
Not a trace, not a drop. Not a piercing, not a tattoo, not a beard.
I do find that astonishing.
I know, I'm kind of proud of that. I've kind of become proud of that over the years.
So, all right, going back to 1997, that was pretty much it for new music from Pegboy. There's always been the promise.
Rub it in. Yeah, it's cool.
But we've all been kind of hoping and waiting that maybe there'd be new Pegboy music at some point. I mean, you still hang out, you still talk to each other. I guess the question is, why hasn't there been more music?
We talk about it a lot, but that's the problem. Is all we do is talk about it.
That's about it.
But just, don't give up on us yet.
Never.
Okay, good.
Never. Listen, dude, we've been with you for 30 years. We're not giving up on you. Like, we're 3 decades into this. We can't walk away. We have too much invested emotionally in this.
All right, we'll promise, like we've promised a million times before, we'll get some.
So as you prepare for, this is kind of a historical event tomorrow. Do you prepare a set list different from what you would have prepared 5 years ago?
You should see how they make their set lists. You should see how that's made. It is completely it's a masterwork on engineering a set list together. It's Skinny walks up with like a blank piece of anything, whether it's cardboard, a napkin, or paper. And then he says, "Hey, are we playing these songs?" And Larry goes, "That sounds good." And then John looks at it and goes, "I'm not playing that." And then it goes around again and they figure it out. And finally they come up with a set list. And it seems to work somehow. It's an amazing thing to watch because it's a total shit show, but it comes out as a great thing in the end, which is awesome.
That's pretty.
And we will get to enjoy that tomorrow. I'm excited. Like, for me, this is a thrilling night. This is selfish. I get to take my kid to this show. Like, he gets to see like these bands that I'm super into that he hasn't really seen or heard that often. Like, we're at that point in life where we can share the music with the kids, and I think that's awesome. Like, I'm super psyched on that level.
James, it's funny you said that. I've had 2 other people today call me and tell me they're coming with their kids. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be, who knows what to expect. I mean, we're entering ground that nobody, very few people have entered in with this COVID thing. We're typically a band that has a lot of crowd interaction.
Sure.
How that's going to play out in a parking lot full of cars. It's going to be interesting. I'm hoping for the best. And I think it'll be a good show, but it's going to be a little bit surreal, and we're going to roll with it and see what happens. I mean, it's going to be interesting to say the least.
I mean, a once in a lifetime thing, you guys, it's 30 years of you guys. And, it's this pandemic stuff comes up, but I mean, to have this opportunity to even have a show and have it happen in Chicago, and, the weather hopefully will be great enough, which it will be no matter what. I mean, this is an amazing thing that you guys have been around for 30 years. You guys are still amazing. This show gets to happen. It's going to be enjoyable regardless, because every time you guys play, it's enjoyable. That's the key thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's the perspective. 1, you're Pegboy. You are beloved in this town. 2, you're going to be performing for a bunch of people who haven't been able to see live music for 7 months.
True.
This is like they've just been let out of prison and they're able to go on their first date. Like, this is, you're going to see the pure id released tomorrow night in a parking lot. It's going to be magnificent to behold. You're going to feel the love. Trust me.
I hope so. I hope Pierre's going to be there with us. I mean, I think he's going to be there with us in spirit.
Of course. All right. We love you guys. We cannot wait to see you tomorrow night. Again, the lineup, I just have to say it again, because this would be a great lineup in any situation, but the fact that it's happening in a pandemic completely blows my mind. Bollweevils, there's Daryl Wilson of Bollweevils. We'll see him on stage tomorrow. Jake Burns of Stiff Little Fingers, Local H, who, by the way, if you have any questions or concerns about performing a drive-in show, get in touch with Scott between now and then.
I actually talked to Scott today about doing drive-in shows because I didn't know what to expect.
He's got that shit figured out. So
we want to thank both, Jake and Local H for doing this with us too. We know that they can get their own crowds anywhere. So
yeah, we gotta ride your coattails to get crowds. So that's where we're coming in.
We're thanking you too.
So again, doors are at 5. Tickets are available at chicagodrivein.com. I can't wait for this. Again, we love you guys. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Jake.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Most people overpay for car insurance, not because they're careless, but because switching feels like too much hassle. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/Libsyn today. That's JERRY.ai/LIBSYN.